I just felt it was appropriate. Sometimes we feel like all we're doing is living on a prayer. Like, whether it be that we're praying for something or we are, that's all we have is prayers. We're as my mother would say, we don't even have 2 nickels to rub together. That was her saying. And I don't know if anybody's heard that. But a while back, a friend of mine, she had been bugging me for a while to go to her Bible study group. Now, I had never, ever been to a Bible study group before. And raised Catholic, and they didn't do Bible study. I don't know why, but they didn't. And so I tried it, something new for the first time. So I always say, what the heck? And it was my friend's birthday, so it was kind of, she's the one that asked me, so it's kind of like, okay, I'll go. And I went to the Bible study group. She just was, I felt like, I don't know why. I mean, not just her birthday. I felt like I needed it. Like, I've gone to church when I feel like I needed, like, something. And I figured, why not? Why not go? I'm feeling like I'm needing something, and this could be it. So I was like, all right. So I wasn't sure if it was going to be my thing or not. Like, I know some people that do Bible study, go to Bible study, and they're just, and this is just my opinion, over religious. And someone made a comment when, you shouldn't have sex until until you're married. That's how you feel. That's how I was raised. So, and did I wait? No. But I waited until I felt this is the person I'm going to marry. And my mother, when I was being pressured by this alcoholic ex-boyfriend, we were dating at the time, and I could talk to my mother about anything. And so, no one was home, and I said, Nick's kind of pressuring me. She knew what I meant. And I don't know that I'm ready, number one. Number two, I feel he's committed to his alcohol, not to me. And until he commits to me and gives up the alcohol, and we had broken up, gone back together. So I did care for him, but then I realized that I didn't love him. Well, I shouldn't say that. I wasn't in love with him. I don't know if I loved him or not, so maybe I really didn't, but I did care for him. And he was adopted, and you could clearly tell he was adopted because, his parents had 2 girls, and they wanted a foster child, and they wanted a boy. Well, they took him and his brother in. His brother, he called him his brother, but I don't know if he really was, he might have been a half brother, but whatever. I don't know what the circumstances behind it, but the brother was older than him. I don't know by how many years. And he was very small, like maybe a toddler. I don't know. And like I said, the brother was older. And when they got the brother kept getting in trouble, even as young as he was. I want to say he was like 8, his brother. So I felt for him because his father was not the nicest to him. His mother loved and adored him, I think because she always wanted a boy, but he was Italian and Spanish, and they were Irish. I mean, his mother had red hair, his father had white hair, like it was blonde and then went white. His sisters were very light, so you could tell, and it bothered him. I mean, he loved his mother dearly, but his father, I mean, like I said, was not nice to him. So I tried this Bible study group, okay? To get back to that, sorry. So I drove with my friend's daughter, and the person's house where the group meets, when I arrived there, they were playing Christian music. And it was nice. It was soft and it was soothing. It wasn't like, hallelujah. It was just very calming. And they were, seemed to be, there was all things all around the house about their blessings and God is God and Jesus and Mary and pictures. And you could tell right away this was a very Christian home. There was no doubt about it. They come in and they welcomed me right away, and I didn't feel like I was being pressured, because they said, Alexa said, this is my mom's friend, and she wanted to come, and my mom's been bugging her since it's my mom's birthday, and she just felt like tonight she was missing something. So she felt like, maybe this is it. And they said, oh, well, welcome. There's refreshments. Do you have a Bible? And I said, actually, I bought a Bible. And I had bought a Bible a while back because I had gone to my friend's church and they were selling Bibles, and it was a small Bible that I could keep by my nightstand. I did have a big Bible that I paperback, and this had a nice cover on it. I sprung for the one with the nice cover and everything, and you could hold a pen or a highlighter. They suggest highlighter because you can highlight what you like or things you want to refer back to. And so I just thought it was nice. And my other one was so big and thick, and it was a paperback, but it was very generic, where this one I thought was, had character and, kind of suited me. And so when they started the group, they started it, the gentleman who was running it started it with a prayer. And then one by one, people took turns reading from the Bible. They picked a passage and they broke it down as to the meaning, verse by verse, which was nice because you don't get that in a Catholic religion. They, on Sundays, they, do, and my grandmother said way back they used to have Bible studies, but they stopped doing that. And I guess because people weren't interested. But I would have liked that. Even in high school, I was very involved with the church. I was involved with the CYO, Catholic organization, if you're not familiar with what that is. And we volunteered, and we did community service, and we, all kinds of charitable things. And also they did ski trips, they did, other kind of trips, which I can't remember right now. And so that was nice. So then, as we're going around the room and people are, talking about the different verses, and it was nice to get a different perspective. I've heard these, through readings in my church, but I've never heard them broken down. So it was nice to get, and I'm like, oh, I didn't think of it that way, because at the end, and it was, and we do the same readings, like the first Sunday of Lent, it's the same readings every year, the first Sunday of Lent, the second Sunday of Lent, the third. So I pretty much know the readings, but then the priest talks, gives their what's called homily, and they say what they think it means. And so I had a different view on this, which I thought was great. And so I really liked it. I did. I loved how they broke it down. I loved how they talked and how they related it to everyday life. And one of the things they talked about was divorce, and how they know, because there was people that were brought up Catholic who were there who was divorced, and they read this one passage, and they said how how they interpreted it and broke it down about divorce, which I'm like, oh, this is perfect. This is like, I wanted to hear, because in my church, it's different. Till death do us part. And the way they interpret it, right or wrong, but I accepted it. I accepted their explanation. That if somebody, a partner leaves the marriage is dead. If they cheat, the marriage is dead. This is how they felt. If the partner no longer is acting like a husband or a wife, then the marriage is dead. They're not keeping up their spousal part of the marriage. And once the marriage dies, then it's over. And I was like, wow, I've never heard it explained that way. And I was wondering, like, how other religions really accept it, because I'd hear a divorce, remarried, they go to church, they're involved in their church, they got married in the church, and I'm like, okay, that'll never happen in the Catholic religion, except if you pay to get an annulment. Now, my mother would not get an annulment. She went to the church about, there's like, you can't get married in the church unless you get an annulment. And my mother's like, I'm not getting an annulment, because then an annulment means that the marriage never happened. That's what an annulment is. So that means my children, if this marriage never happened, my children were born out of wedlock. And they're bastards. Back then, that's, the term they used. He's a bastard child. And now, if he's a bastard child, it could mean, okay, he's out of wedlock, or he's a bastard child because he's just off the wall, horrible child. So, then one of the other, and of course, I liked that explanation. So, because it was one I could live with. So I'm sitting there, and again, I didn't know. I'm still thinking, I don't know if this is for me to come all the time to a Bible study group, But I'm glad I came here tonight. This is what I'm thinking to myself. Because I felt better. Because instead of listening to the priest at my church say, if you look, they don't recognize divorce. So if a woman sleeps with a man and her husband is not deceased, then she's committing adultery. And it was like all about the woman, the woman does this and the woman does that, and that man is coveting another man's wife. So it did go a little bit into the man, but and she was wrong to, and I'm like, are you kidding me? No. So, and then they talked about, for example, 55-mile-an-hour speed limit. And now almost all of us, one time or another, we have gone over the speed limit. And we justify it by saying things like, I can't be late, or I'm going 80 and the other car is passing me. Some of us try and justify it, This all comes back to no one is perfect. No one. Not one of us are perfect. We try to be the best we can be, but from time to time, we aren't. We're not perfect. And I do believe, and maybe you don't, but my belief is the only perfect person was hung on the cross. So, there were also people in the group that interpreted some verses different than others, and therefore differed on the meaning, which I've always said, everything is up for interpretation, even the Bible. Like, some people interpret it different than others, and some people some people, if something is gray, but they'll say it's charcoal. No, it's gray. Well, that's your opinion, is charcoal. That neither one is wrong. That's how they see it. And they respected each other's opinions. And it wasn't like in church, like, no, this is the way it is, and that's it, like how we were taught. And some even commented how they never thought of it that way. Oh, I never thought of it that way. But now that you said it, that makes sense to me. And so I love that they shared their opinions. They weren't judged for their opinions. And I thought it was so nice that they accepted. And even sometimes, I could see that. So, very nice. They've been together for a while. They asked me at the end, and I said I really liked it. This is what I needed tonight. They said, will you be back? And I said, I have to be honest, I don't know. I don't know that this is my thing, and I was going to try other Bible study groups, but I didn't. They had cupcakes for my friend's birthday, and I was able to talk to the people in the group, and they were some of the nicest and truly genuine people that I've ever met. And I really enjoyed myself. And I always say, I'll try anything once. And again, if I like it and I enjoy it. It's not that, I went out of my comfort zone. And sometimes we need to do that. And the one thing I didn't agree with, but it did not come up in this Bible study group, but it came up in another one. My friend's brother is married to a man. And it came up in one of the groups, one of the Bible studies, about, it's wrong. It's against God's nature. And I don't agree with this. I don't agree with this. Because I don't think, even if, like, my mother would say to me, did God really want me to stay with a man that was beating me every day? Would God want that? Would God want me to be, have pain inflicted on me every day and put my children through that, witnessing that? So, okay. So, I agree 100%. Also, we're all God's children. That's what the Catholic Church teaches. We're all God's children. God loves all of us. So, would God turn one of his children away when they get to heaven because they married a man married a man, or a woman married a woman, or even the transgender? And I have two, one's a friend, one's someone that I know, whose child was, both of them, they were girls, and they became boys. And my friend said, I don't understand it, but I do know that, him and his wife paid for the surgery to get the boobs, and I assume a hysterectomy. I didn't ask that far, but they said get rid of the female parts. So I can only assume, because I don't think you'd keep having your period or whatever. So I am like, okay, now but he knows his child is much happier, with the boobs removed and everything else, and much happier person. So he's like, I don't understand it, but it's my child. So, and I do know my child is much happier. And they waited till he was, done with high school. And he went through the therapy, and I did a paper on this, and you have to go through, I want to, it's anywhere from 2 to 4 years of therapy. You have to dress as the gender that you want to be. You have to also pick a name and have people call you by that name. And he started out as, and I don't know if he used the correct term, and I apologize, started out as a girl in high school, started freshman year as a girl, and graduated, though, being called the male name. So I think that's just, how it is. They really, the heck is this? So go out of your comfort zone. Try something different. You might like it. You never know. Or you might meet people that you then, form a relationship with. And that's what my therapist told me when I was getting divorced. And I did join a meetup group, but I kind of got a stalker out of it. I know people that have done it and love it. I know people that have done singles groups, and they go on cruises, they do outings, and some people have met people, some people haven't, but they've met friends. So I'm actually thinking about that, because maybe that's a better way to meet men, is a singles group. Might research that on Facebook, Middlesex County, singles. And maybe there's even women I might meet there that are trying to get healthy, trying to lose weight, want a walking partner, and I love walking. I do. And I can't wait. I'm going to try to pin down my family for March for maybe a hike. March can be iffy. And then maybe April too. But we have a lot going on. Lots going on. So I'm going to try and research that and get on that. So I liked the fact of the Bible study group because, again, I went to one before. I never did, the Bible wasn't broken down for me like that me growing up. So it was just the readings, and they broke down the readings, but their interpretation. And like I said, they feel you shouldn't get divorced in the Catholic religion. I like that because, in my opinion, my ex checked out of the marriage. My marriage was dead. He slowly, just stopped communicating, sat on the couch, watched TV, didn't go to anything. I lied. Oh, he's working. And he really just didn't want to go. And, nothing, like very little going on in the bedroom to nothing. And, there is someone that told me this, that they met somebody who, it was a guy now, and his wife realized after they got married and had a child, right from the beginning, the sex didn't stop, but after the first child, and she was like ready to go after, her waiting period or whatever, and he's like, oh, we're not ready for another child yet. And she's like, what? And she goes, I know. And he goes, well, the only reason to have sex is for a child. She's like, that is not the only reason. And to me, no. Is sex everything? No. But it's a form of intimacy. And when you're attracted to somebody, yes, that is very intimate. And if someone does not want to do that with you, I feel like they're not, and it might be they have an issue. I'm not talking about people that have issues or whatever. I know as women get older, some men lose interest, or like women that go through menopause, it's painful. Men, it's they can't perform for whatever reason, medical issue, medicine, whatever. But I really like, that is a form of intimacy. And even if they didn't want to have sex, they want to hold your hand, they want to cuddle, if they can't perform, or it's painful for them to perform. My friend, like I said, she tried all these things. Maybe if that doesn't work for them, okay, but there's no reason to not, hold hands and be affectionate. Sorry, I was struggling for the word. Affectionate. Sorry. When I hit my head I don't know how many years ago, 21, I think. So it'll be 3 years. I think it was 21. Sometimes I struggle for like the simplest words, so I apologize. But so trying that Bible study group gave me what I needed in that moment. And another time I went with my friend after my Frank died, and she was bugging Frank to go, and Frank was like, I don't want to go, church isn't for me, and whatever. when I went after Frank died, I was like, you know what? I feel like I need to go. You know, it's something you wanted Frank to do, and maybe I should have pushed him harder. And I went, and there was a speaker, and he said him and his wife got married. They didn't have much money at all. They were living in this, like, it might even been a studio apartment, but I'm not really sure. It was a studio apartment or one-bedroom apartment, very small, very tiny. And he comes home. Well, I think he had it towed, this Porsche. And it was, she said, in such bad shape. The seats were ripped. It was rusted. It was that. And he said he took their wedding money, which they were saving, I guess, for a house, and he bought this Porsche. And she was kind of mad. Like, he made a purchase without asking her to, this horrible car. And he said, what do you know, she said, he's like, isn't this great? And she's like, are you looking at this? He said, yes, I am. He said, I see brand new leather seats. I see, you know, a new body on it and this and that. And he's describing. And she's like, looking like, are you crazy? Like, how can you see that? And he said, well, sure enough, little by little, as he had money, he fixed it up. And he worked on it himself, I guess. And he, you know, little by little. So I don't think he did the leather seats or whatever, but, and then it was a beautiful car. And and it's like, they still have it and they drive it. And, you know, the kids loved it. Like, oh, let's go for a ride in the Porsche. So he saw this car all rusted and ripped seats. And I think even he said the floorboards were, you know, you could see like a Fred Flintstone car. And he said that he was like, he could see that. And some people see themselves as that rickety old Porsche, and they can't see themselves with new leather seats and new floors and a new body on it and new engine and all new parts. And, you know, not that you're going to get new parts, but can't see the beautiful person they can become with some work on themselves. And I think this reflects what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get healthier. I'm trying to work towards plant-based, but don't kill me tonight because, well, I'm having pizza, but I'm having cauliflower. It's made with cauliflower dough, and it's gluten-free. So it's not dairy-free, but it's gluten-free. So I'm trying to imagine myself. And way back in the day, I always struggled with my weight. Well, I shouldn't say that. I was average. I really wasn't heavy, but I had skin and bones for siblings. I was the biggest one, so I always felt like I was heavy. And I walked and walked and walked and walked. I remember one time I came out of my street, all the way down the street, all the way down this main street, across to the next town, up their main street, across, down. I did it, kept doing it. And someone said, how many times do you, because I kept doing it until I got where I wanted to be. And then I kind of, you know, I still walked, but I didn't have to walk as much. And I was happier. So I'm not saying I'm unhappy now, but I feel like I'd be happier working on myself. So that analogy with the car, so you can be that beautiful, shiny new Porsche. You might not be it now, but you can be with a little work. And yeah, even if you have health issues. So maybe you can't replace your engine, but you know, I was taught, my nephew dropped off something last night that I had ordered from his company, and it was so great to see him. And he had a kidney transplant, and he's probably headed for another one. He had one like 14 years ago. And when he started having troubles again, and he's always struggled with his weight, and I don't think he was ever a heavy kid at all, or a heavy guy. So gorgeous. Oh my God, the blue eyes. Oh my gosh. But he did a lot of research, and what worked for him, he felt, was keto. But in talking to him, he said, you know what? He started this community online. He said, almost like a Facebook thing, but it's for people that's diabetic, that's got this, got that, and he's got his kidney issues, so he's got to watch certain foods and stuff. So that's what prompted him. And he said he watched like 1,000 hours or maybe 1,000 videos. I don't know if he said 1,000 hours of YouTube or 1,000 hours. Different things. Did his research, read that before he embarked on the keto and was set on the keto. And he has all this research, and he was talking to me, and oh my gosh, so well educated. He works in the city, self-educated as far as that stuff, and wow, blew my mind. And he was, oh my God, I'm so happy, you're doing plant-based. And he said, and I was like, well, I said, I can't give up my feta cheese and certain, the hard cheeses. I'm slowly trying to do that. And I haven't had meat in, is it 2 weeks? Yeah, I think 2 weeks. It'll be this Saturday, tomorrow. I think it'll be 2 weeks. So, yeah. So, think of yourself as that broken down, rusted, seat-ripped Porsche. And I'm sure to say, don't think of yourself. Picture yourself as that new body, shiny, beautiful Porsche. So, and baby steps. I mean, he did it little by little, and I think he took him, I think he said 5 years. So, that's what my nephew said to me last night. He said, it might take you a year or two to get where you want to be. And I said, I'd be so happy, because in July, I'm 2 years, this July I'm turning 58. So when I turn 60, I want to be healthier. I want to be better. I want to be that shiny Porsche. So little steps. I'm doing little things at a time to get myself there. Just like he, fixed this first and then that. And maybe he only did one seat and then the other seat and then the back seat. So it takes time. It takes patience, which I know I'm not good at. And not to lose faith or not get frustrated and be like, oh my God. A month in, say, I really don't see much. I don't see much of a change. So I found a pair of pants. They're the size I wear, but they're straight. They're not curvy. So I can get them up. I can't button them. So that's my goal. I want to put them on March 1st, because it started this February 1st. And I want to see where I'm at as far as those pants. Like, I'm want to see, and I want to try to take a picture where they're at, how much I can't button. And then April 1st, see where I'm at again. And I do have this hernia on my stomach, which is annoying. But the doctor told me, unless I lose 50 pounds, he will not operate on it. So, very frustrating. But that doctor's way down, like, it's very far from me now. So I might try to, and I want to find someone that's in a single practice. Like, it's them just. Not, I don't like these old big groups now. It's like my dermatologist. It's like, oh, we have offices here, we got offices there. It's got a million doctors. I feel it's very impersonal. So, but I'm going to make an appointment for April for my blood work with my doctor, my MD. Make an appointment, and then I know they're going to want to do blood work and see how that comes. I want to see how, and I'm probably due mid-April, and see how the blood work comes, and see if and then I'm going to get on the scale. So, yes. So I have to get inside because I really have to do a bunch of things before everybody gets here in an hour. And thank God my son went to the store because so I am going to go inside. I have to walk my dog, but that's going to cut into my time. So that's annoying. So I should have cut this video shorter, but hey, I will run around like a mad woman and I will get it done. So I will talk to you all later, and I'm having girls' game night at my place. So if I don't talk to you later, you'll hear from me tomorrow. So have a good Friday night, everybody.